What's up, everybody? It's the little surfing section of the I just popped in BAFTA just to kind of demonstrate the way you want to start kind of picking apart some of these more polarizing cultural events that may occur. Albeit this is just pretty tough stuff for a lot of people to talk about. But it doesn't change the fact that this is very real for you have black people. And I think part of understanding culture is being able to accept that there's two truths at one time. John Davidson can't help the fact that he has Tourette's and that the corporelia has him yelling out obscenities and doing obscene things. But that doesn't mean that what he does doesn't hurt people. And I think that the biggest outrage is just that this made it to air when it didn't have to, considering that they figured out the other gentleman's pre-Palestine statement. So you jump into Fire Search, type that in, you kind of see some of those trends that pop up there. I wanted to go down the rabbit hole of some of these other trends though around the racial slur and the fallout, and you just continue to click it and it'll bring up more of those themes that are happening there. There's no shortage of content right now out there in the zeitgeist around this particular topic. I have people from everywhere weighing in on the subject. I've seen firsthand people that were actually in the crowd. They're explaining that part of the reason why in the reaction from Michael B. Jordan and Delroy think they were more prepared than we think for them. Apparently that John was there and that he does yell out stuff, and he was given his flowers for the movie about his life. And again, I'm not here to judge or make sense of something that I will never understand, right? Thank God. All I can do is just kind of have empathy and compassion for him on his big night to be tainted with something like this. Just to kind of read briefly about his life, he's been getting beat up and ostracized his whole life because of this. So again, this is another instance of him having to kind of live in his truth, that he can't control himself in this matter, which is unfortunate. The other side of it is just, Ryan Coogler and the rest of the Sinners cast. They've been catching a lot of flack just in Hollywood, not being invited to things, despite being the biggest movie in America, in the world, pretty much last year. So again, this is just another situation where things get tricky. Things get tricky very quickly. And some of those things, permeate across many different groups of people because it's very polarizing. You got two sides to it that are and their points are very valid. I think the biggest thing is just to track the behaviors, right? And what this stirs up. And again, I think that being over vocal about it is not a problem, but when those behaviors start turning into actions towards people is when it is. And again, I just like to refrain and kind of draw attention to their reaction, right? Michael B. Jordan and Delroy's reaction, poised. They didn't react in a way of anger or lash out at that time. And I just would encourage everyone on both sides to kind of keep that same energy as well. But here, are some of those results from the little signals. And it's funny enough, this default data set already had, that social volume last 6 months around it, web traffic. And again, it's just something that is very top of mind for the culture right now. And I think it's a conversation that a lot of people are willing to have. I encourage everyone to have it respectfully and consider both sides. Peace.